Hi everybody, it's Talia from the Climbing Tree. I have a pregnancy update for you. I'm like 37 and a half weeks pregnant. Let me see if I can show you. Sometimes it doesn't look too bad, but other times I feel like I'm huge. I think this possibly might be my last update unless I don't know, have some sort of crazy burst of energy or time. I actually don't have time to film this video. Yesterday was Yom Kippur and it's Sukkot in a few days and we're just doing all of these things, and I'm also fitting in like extra stuff because I'm kind of crazy like that. Like we are getting photos taken this afternoon. Actually the photos that I'm getting taken, I haven't possibly shared this on YouTube yet. I wrote on my blog, I've definitely shared it on my Instagram. Check out those places for like more frequent updates on things. But Baruch Hashem, we finished our conversion, which is like very exciting and very, awesome. We're super grateful, and we've actually, I think, I'll talk more about the conversion at a different time, but I feel like a new person, it's crazy. So because we did that, Luke and I got married, had a Jewish wedding, and we had to do that, like we converted on the Thursday. We had our meeting with the Beth Din on Thursday morning, we went to the mikveh Thursday afternoon, and Thursday night we got married. That was down in Sydney. We don't really plan anything in advance because you don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen or if you're going to pass or whatever. So and it has to be done quickly. So yeah, it just happened. It was amazing and beautiful, and I was pretty like emotional. I mean, we were like prepared in that we had clothes ready for a wedding should that happen, but we didn't have things like a photographer or something like this that as someone who really loves memory keeping and record keeping, it's a bit sad to have. There are a lot of people taking photos, and I hope that people send them to me. And my brother came and took photos, for me. So I definitely have some records of things, but I just don't have nice photos. And it was Luke and my like regular secular wedding anniversary, 12 years, last weekend. And I have all these beautiful photos from that wedding because we planned it for 9 months, or 11 months or whatever. We were engaged for 11 months, I think. And I just had this realization that in a year's time, I would possibly regret that I didn't have beautiful photos from this Jewish wedding that we've had. And so I had to like bite the bullet and say, I'm going to get professional photos taken. It's like 3 weeks later and I'm still pregnant, so we need to get them done. I can't do this in a month because I won't be pregnant anymore. So we're just all dressing up in exactly the same clothes that we wore to our Jewish wedding, like me, Luke, the kids, everyone. And we're going to sort of, as if we'd gone out on location and had wedding photos taken. So Luke thinks I'm crazy for doing this, but I know that, this is a safeguard. I'll feel better for doing this, So even though I'm really not into photos while I'm pregnant, to be honest. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're doing like extra stuff like that, even though it's totally crazy. I have a lot of like food prep to do for the baby. So that's one of my priorities in the next few weeks, is getting a lot of meal prep done. I've been reading a lot about slow postpartum. It's one of those things that keeps coming up. Podcasts, things like this. I've been reading this book called Golden Month by Jenny Allison, and it is a really great book. I'm going to try and do a video of like birth prep stuff and resources I think people should read, because I've got a few books that have been really helpful for me. But yeah, this is a really beautiful book about postpartum and This is something that, you know, for quite a lot of the pregnancy has really resonated with me, this idea of a slow postpartum. I'm not really in a position where I have like, my mother can just come live with me for a month and look after me completely. And I think that it's a bit much to expect people to do this kind of stuff when it's not your cultural thing to do. But you know, my mother, she will come and help with stuff, obviously. It's just a bit harder because she lives so far away now, or like as in we live far away from her now. We're the ones who moved. But, you know, I'm sure she will come, obviously, because everyone wants to see the baby anyway. And will be very helpful, and she has been super, super helpful these last few weeks. She's come down like once a week to just help me out and get things organized and get me organized, because I definitely need someone to organize me sometimes. And so tomorrow she's coming and we're doing like a big cook up day just to like make a whole bunch of food together to have in the freezer for when the baby arrives, because that's one of the things about the slow postpartum is I don't want to have to be in the kitchen cooking. I definitely don't want to have to be cooking at that dinner time of day, and I can't really expect that people would be bringing me meals, or you know, maybe you can expect that, but I just feel like it's better to be prepared. So I'm doing that. I will share all of those things in a different video as well. I think that will make this video too long if I do that. So that's like my focus, my headspace. I am a little bit feeling not frustrated, but like maybe a little bit like, oh, the timing of the baby. I knew that this would happen because I've known the whole pregnancy what the due date sort of is, and feeling like I have no time to just really rest and relax. At 37 weeks, I wish that it's getting really, really hot here. I wish that Ahava and I could just be going to the pool every day, and I could just be listening to my, you know, meditations for the pregnancy and swirling around on the ball like I am, and just like really appreciating these last few weeks of pregnancy. But, you know, it was Yom Kippur yesterday. It was Rosh Hashanah, you know, 10 days before that. It's Sukkot in a couple of days. There's a lot of Yom Tovim to be accounting for, and a lot of holidays and a lot of other things to focus on. And so really my attention has to be on those things, and I have to just really capture these snippets of time when I can focus on the pregnancy, you know, when I can. And I am using, to be honest, a lot of those, like when we have a Yom Tov, yes, going to shul, yes, praying, but there's a lot of, you know, downtime where you're just kind of chilling. And so I'm using that time to, you know, read through my pregnancy books. I can't like take notes and do birth art and stuff like this, but just trying to like find time to really put that into myself and prepare myself in any way that I can. So that's good. That's what we're up to with all of that kind of stuff. In terms of like baby things and being prepared for baby, today one thing that I need to do is get a box and put all of my stuff in it. Basically the stuff that I will need immediately after birth and the things that the baby will need immediately after birth. And yes, what else? Oh, today Ahava and I went to the shops, and I got a couple of the last things I need. So I got this nappy bag. Maybe I will do like a whole video. I have no idea. Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, that's wishful thinking, Talia. Anyway, I like this bag because it's like a backpack type one, but also has handles so you can just hold it. It doesn't have like tons of pockets, but it has like a front pocket for things. It has a pouch thing inside, a zip pocket on the other side, and it has a little change mat in it, though I do have another change mat. So probably what I might end up doing is leave this change mat in this bag, and my other change mat just put like in the car, because that is handy, you know, to have a second sort of pack of nappies and stuff like this. So I've been putting off getting it has some pockets on the side. There you go. Yeah. And you know, it's like a plasticky kind of lining, so it's easy to clean. So I think that'll be good, you know. Can fit a decent amount of stuff in there. I do plan to be doing cloth nappies after, you know, we go through the really little newborn stage. And so I have to be realistic that I need a decent sized nappy bag to have a few nappies to be able to keep dirty ones in there as well once if we're changing when we're out, that kind of stuff. So I'm happy with that. You know, it's nice. It's a nice grey colour too, and I like this sort of tanny colour. It would be great if I could like have bought something sustainable and I don't know, handmade and all that kind of stuff, but we're not at that point anymore. The other thing I bought today was some wraps, another thing that I was sort of on my list that I don't really have. I just got some light ones. This one, it does have flowers and maybe a bunny on it. Oh yeah, it's bunnies. There you go. I suppose that's fine. I had sort of thought it was plain white and I could like tie-dye it. I could still tie-dye over the top of this really pretty blue colour. I don't know if you can see that. It's one of my favourite blues, and this one's sort of leaves and flowers. So, I mean, we're having a girl. I'm just going to put that out there now. And I don't know, they just only had grey things, boy things, and this was the most girly one that they had today. So actually I need to wash that. Put it over there, take it out. What else did I buy today? Today I just bought some bassinet fitted sheets. Pretty cute, should wash those as well. My mother is amazing and she is like cleaning up the bassinet that I had to choose. We've had a couple over the time and I've had to like choose which one I wanted for this baby, and she's like cleaning it all up for me and washing stuff and just stuff that, to be honest, like it's just, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So even though we do plan to like co-sleep with the baby, I like to have a bassinet for when they're little because they're safe with, you know, edges and things, and I always put my babies to sleep in the day out in the lounge room, so they're like around the noise and the light and all of this kind of stuff. I don't believe in like blackout curtains. I mean, maybe for nighttime if you had to, but generally I just think, particularly in the day, I've never had a big problem with my kids like thinking that nighttime is daytime or anything like this. And I really think it's because from the beginning there are other people in the house and you sleep in the lounge room where there's noise and things in the day, so you're definitely not thinking that it's nighttime. And I never ever turn the light on in the night. Not to change a nappy, not to feed them, nothing. Everything is like pitch black, dark in the nighttime, and it stays that way. Even if the baby is awake, they need to just be awake in the dark so they know that it's nighttime. So that's probably the toughest part about me as a mother. Other than that, they run all over me. The other thing we bought today was this book, You're the Best Big Sister, which I'm going to give to Ahava as a present during Sukkot. And I just had a flip through it and I just thought it looked like a really nice book about how babies are cute and cuddly, but sometimes they stink and sometimes they cry, and you know how important it is to be a good big sister and the ways that you can be a good big sister. So you know, here, you know, this page particularly says when mummy and daddy are busy, and it has all these different pictures of mummy and daddy being busy. Always know that they love you too, and now that you're a big sister, enjoy sharing with somebody new. So lots of things. I mean, possibly meant more as for a first, you know, the oldest child getting the second sibling, but Ahava has indicated to me a few times that perhaps she is worried about, you know, her place in the family when the baby comes. In general, she's very, very excited, and she is excited, but I think that's normal that she just has expressed some sort of concern about like, will you still love me when the baby comes? And I think it's because we've talked about some of the things that she will have to, you know, change when the baby comes, like having to maybe be more responsible, or not being able to be in the pram anymore because the baby will be in the pram, which probably won't be how it is. Probably the baby will be like in the sling or the ergo. She will be able to be in the pram, but we've sort of talked about these things because really she's 3.5, she'll be 4 in January, and it's mid-October, and she's kind of too big for the pram. Like it doesn't push so well when she's in it because she's heavier. So this was kind of our thinking to get her out of the pram anyway, but maybe we shouldn't have said that. But that was really the only things, but I'm just aware of that. So I just thought that it would be nice to get her this book. It looks really pretty and, you know, nice, and the message is simple, and, you know, just something special for her. I don't really do like presents from the baby or to the baby or anything like this. Everyone's just super stoked to have a new baby, please God. So more update on the actual baby rather than just stuff for the baby is that she's pretty well down there. I can like feel that, and actually since about like 34 weeks, so for the last 3 weeks or so, I could feel her you know, plonk down, and then she would come up and she'd go up and down and up and down, and sometimes, you know, it's difficult to walk, other times it was difficult to breathe. This is just the way it was. But for the last week or so now, she has gone down and she hasn't come up again. She's just down there, and sometimes she's down there lower and sometimes she's down there higher, but she's always in my pelvis. So that's what it is. It doesn't really mean anything other than it's uncomfortable to walk and uncomfortable to pee sometimes as well. And on that topic, oh, that's the thing. So she's been in this really beautiful position for most of the whole pregnancy, like head down from ages, and with her back around here. I can like feel when her bum kicks on this side and her legs kick out on this side, sort of thing. And I had my last midwife appointment on Tuesday, and she had definitely moved completely to the front, so she's in this really ideal kind of position now, and I felt like for a few days that's how she'd moved. I could feel her move into that position, and that's fine. Again, it's just another thing. It doesn't really mean anything, except that for me this is a new and different thing, because generally my babies never move into that front position until I'm in labor, like until the day they're being born. So they always just stick to one side. So it's kind of like a really different and new feeling in my tummy. I feel stretched in a different way from her being in that position. So that's interesting. I had an ultrasound, I must have been 35 weeks, so 2 weeks ago. She was like a bit on the bigger side, but I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. My babies, Leo was 3.7 kilos, Ellie was 4.6 kilos, which is big. Ahava was 3.9 kilo. So I feel like my babies are often in the bigger scale of things. And that's just, I don't know, I still birthed them totally fine, so I'm not really worried about it. Even Ellie, the chunkamunka, was, you know, born without any help or intervention, you know what I mean? So, or pain relief. So I just feel like if I can give birth to Ellie, I can give birth to anyone. So I'm not worried about that. Luke and I decided on a name, sort of. We've more or less decided on a first name that is kind of like our a name that we're both happy to call her if we don't think of a better name in the next 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're not buying decorations for the wall with the name written on it, that kind of thing, where if something happened and we're like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing name, we both love this name, then we would go with the different name. We don't have a middle name yet. One thing we did with the Hava is that we waited, like, we didn't have a middle name for her really either, and we waited until she was born, and then we read the parasha that week that she was born, and used a name. Miriam is her middle name, and it was, we were reading sort of through the Passover story at her birth, and so Miriam was there as a beautiful, like, woman, and I love that. I think that's perfect for her. So maybe we'll do that again, but maybe not. We just don't have a middle name, but we'll think of something. I'm not so worried about it. Yeah, so I think that's good. Name done, baby position good. Got all my baby stuff now, feeling like basically I've got everything that I need. Just need to put it all in a box so it's ready. And I'm feeling pretty good about myself and where I'm at and how I'm feeling about things, and just trying to fit it in. Busy time, but I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I had a lot of pool time on the long weekend that we just had, and that was amazing, and I'm thinking I need to prioritize that. Even during like Chol HaMoed of Sukkot next week, I need to just not worry so much about like meal prep maybe. Just trying to keep everything simple to do with the holidays this year. But yeah, just going to the pool, even if it's just for like an hour, and just floating, because it just felt amazing, and I felt like this is why she got into this really good position, was because I just spent hours and hours and hours at the pool. And so I just think any time that I can be spending floating in water would be a really, really good thing. I tend to really gravitate toward the environmental elements in pregnancy and birth, and so I think even though the pool is a fairly manufactured thing, but it is water, and that just seems to like be good for me. It's a good feeling actually, fourth pregnancy. In talking like with my midwife, I feel like I'm really in tune with what I want and what I need because of previous births, but also just feeling like in a really good place within myself, that I can really trust my instinct and go with the flow on things, and really just be like, even I was looking through the hypnobirthing book, and they had different positions for birth, examples, and I could just go through each of those pages and be like, no, yes, yes, no, and I could just like feel really intuitively what I felt would be right for me at this time. So I'm really happy about like where I'm at with that kind of stuff. Probably the only last thing is I'll show you this picture that I did it ages ago. It's of the Sefirot. I just had this like moment last Shabbat. I was reading a book on the Sefirot, and I just felt like this, I don't know, divine inspiration come to me with this explanation of how each of the Sefirot related to birth and how you had to sort of like activate it. This is a thing that's been coming up for me again and again, is about like alignment and having everything aligned. I had a bone therapy session last week, another one booked for this Friday, and I feel like the Sefirot is like the spiritual version of that, and getting all of the Sefirot aligned and in a good place for birth and using all of them. So I will really actually share all of that at a later time. This is some birth. What's wrong? Okay, I'll fix your show in a second. I've been doing a bit of birth art. Hope to do a bit more, and I'll show you all of that probably after the birth, let's be honest. So yeah, I think I'll sign off now because Ahava obviously needs me. And yeah, I hope that sometime in the next 3 weeks I can actually post this video. But yeah, I would appreciate your prayers and well wishes for a safe and efficient birth for this little baby, and that everything goes well. Thanks guys, see ya.